Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Roundup. Once again, I'm Jude Binkley here with my co-host
Aria Damavandi.
And today we are talking about the conference championship games. It was a very exciting Sunday. Both these games going into overtime, and we got a lot to talk about. So let's get into today's first game with the NFC Championship. This is something we were both extremely excited about, being Rams fans. Aria, what did you think about the game?
I thought the game was a very entertaining game. Rams fell down early. They had some struggles with hearing the audibles from Jared Goff. The stadium was extremely loud. As you heard on TV, we could all hear how loud they were. So we had a couple miscommunications in the beginning, but right before the half, they started getting some sort of momentum going, and then in the second half, they just kept on building off of that and ultimately won the game.
Yeah, so the final score of this game was 26-23. Rams won it in overtime off of a clutch 57-yard kick from Greg Zerloin. It could have been good from 70. It was a great kick. He's been such an asset to this team. It's been incredible. But they did start off down 13-0 in the first quarter. It was really rough. I think they had about 15 total yards of offense in that quarter.
Also, Todd Gurley interception off of his hands. Jared Goff threw a pick in the beginning, which set them up in really bad shape, but
our ball's gone.
Yeah.
Get that back. Here we go. All right.
So yeah. They started off bad, but they built off of that. Greg Zerline clutched it up with 2 field goals. The first one to set it into overtime, the second one to ultimately win it in overtime off of a Johnson interception. So yeah,
and I think a big part of this game was C.J. Anderson really stepping up for Todd Gurley, who didn't play too much, but he's been such an asset from this team. And thinking about how his season went, getting cut from the Raiders to being now, a star player for these last 2 games for the Rams, and now he's in the Super Bowl. Just a great comeback story. And, a great inspiration. Just the way he's built. He's built like a bowling ball. They said it so many times, but just the way he's able to run through people, he's been great picking up in place of Todd Gurley.
Yeah, it's hard to believe how a couple months ago he was on his couch just sitting there watching football, and now he's in the Super Bowl in the biggest game in the United States. So it's really inspirational for people out there.
And, of course, there was some controversy in this game, that no call that happened.
Famous non-call. Everybody knows about this if you're a football fan. So you want to get right into that.
Yeah, I think this will go down in history even more so than the tuck rule. But that really is a part of football. And, I've seen some bizarre things like Saints fans trying to start a petition or trying to take the NFL to court. Which isn't going to happen. Yeah, that's part of the game. It's human error. It's kind of what makes football, the character. And with referees, they do miss calls. There are missed calls on the Rams. There are missed calls on the Saints. Although this one was egregious.
Yeah. It's because refs miss calls. No one's perfect. They can't call every single call. They missed a face mask on Jared Goff, but no one's talking about that because this is the most famous one. So, it's over. They can't really do anything about it right now. So.
And ultimately, this was the Saints' game to lose. They were up so much. And I think that this was Sean Payton's worst called game of his career. And, that's something because this is really Drew Brees' last chance to get another Super Bowl. He's now 40 years old. He's getting up there. He's going to retire soon. Yeah. And Sean Payton he didn't have good calls. He didn't have a good game. And a lot of that blame should be going on him.
Yeah. On the 1st and 10, who the heck would want to throw it after that big gain from Ted Ginn? You just run the ball, make us use all our timeouts, and then just kick a field goal if you can't even do that. And then we only have 30 seconds to score anything. So it'll put us in much more of a harder shape. Exactly. Giving us a minute and timeout. So.
But as a Rams fan, I'm definitely not complaining.
Yeah, I'm not complaining either. We're in the Super Bowl, so.
All right, so let's move on to our next game from Sunday. It was the AFC Conference Championship at Arrowhead, which is kind of a shock to hear because it had never been played there. But this game was between the Patriots and the Chiefs. Also went into overtime. The Patriots won it 37-31. Thoughts on this game?
I thought this was a very interesting game. I started watching this game a little bit into the first quarter because I was still hyped up after the Rams won. So I didn't see the beginning, but I saw a lot of the controversy also about the Julian Edelman, the punt they picked up. He supposedly didn't touch it, so he gave the Patriots the ball as for giving the Kansas City a touchdown off of that. So there was some more controversy in the AFC Championship game, but I thought Tom Brady played really, really well, actually. So
Yeah, and Tom Brady, he hasn't been touched. He hasn't been sacked in 2 games, which I think is going to be the biggest factor of the Super Bowl, that Rams D-line against this Patriots offensive line, which has been so good against the Chargers and the Chiefs. Then Sony Michel, the rookie, picked in the first round, he's been on fire. He's looked like a great running back. Another running back from UGA, just like Todd Gurley. And Gronk was playing, which is something that we hadn't really seen in the regular season, which really hurt my fantasy team, by the way. And then Edelman with some clutch third down catches. It seems like on just 3rd and 10, those were some automatic makes from Brady.
Yeah.
And he's 41 now. He's old. He's up there, but he's still playing, like one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah. Tom Brady had 348 passing yards and 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. But at the end of the day, he got the job done. He did Brady things that we all know he's capable of. He's named the GOAT for reasons. He can clutch anything up in the overtime. So, yeah.
And that's the thing. If you have Tom Brady with the ball in overtime, he's going to win the game.
You can feel confident.
And yeah, you saw that. They marched right down the field, 1 drive overtime, and the game was over for Chiefs fans. Both the home teams lost these conference games, which is a little interesting. That typically doesn't happen.
Yeah, Gronk and Edelman came up clutch as they usually do. With the big gain, Gronkowski got them down like in the 10, I'm pretty sure, off that big catch. So that set them up.
It's one of those things. Going into the offseason, I was kind of counting the Patriots out. Both of these teams are the 2 seeds, so I mean they kind of were expected to make it. They both had byes.
Yeah.
But going into it, they hadn't I wasn't really thinking that they'd make it in. I thought it'd be the Chargers or the Chiefs, and they beat both of those teams, the 2 best teams that I thought were in the race, and so they definitely deserve their spot in the Super Bowl.
And also what was funny is that both away teams won in overtime against the home team. So that was pretty interesting. I'd never seen that before. So
yeah, first weekend where we had 2 conference championships go into overtime. Yeah. That's a very rare thing, and that's what made this week so exciting. And they both kind of controversial, very close, and some of the best conference championships games we've had in recent memory.
Patrick Mahomes played pretty well. He had over 300 yards, no interceptions, with 3 touchdowns. So it wasn't a bad game from him. Just the experience factor really hit them, and they had Patriots dominated the time of possession, so they didn't really have a chance to score that much.
And if I'm a Chiefs fan right now, I'm not really distraught because they have Mahomes. He's going to get money in 2020 when his contract's set to renew. People are talking about him getting $200 million contract. That'd be the biggest of the kind.
Crazy.
And he deserves it. He's playing like an incredible player. The Chiefs do have a long future set up, and I wouldn't be too discouraged. The Saints, on the other hand, this is probably their last chance for a Super Bowl run.
Yep. So that'll wrap up the Roundup. We'll see you in a couple days with some more preview of the Super Bowl. We're out.